Strong Dads wants to thank Quality Auto Mart for joining us as a sponsor. Quality Auto Mart was born in 1985. They are owned and operated by Mark and Nancy Repke. Quality Auto Mart provides all the services, repairs, and maintenance for your vehicle's needs with a 3-year auto parts and labor warranty. They offer complimentary vehicle safety inspection and estimates. Also, they offer a shuttle service, and the 4th oil change is always on them. They are located at 7307 on State Road 46 in Batesville, Indiana. Make sure you give them a call at 812-934-2301.
Welcome to Strong Dads.
Hold on.
We're just starting. What's going on?
We're just starting. No drinks allowed on the cast iron.
Are you kidding me?
I am not kidding you, Merle, here. Oh, man.
Holy cow, guys. Well, obviously, you can see that Kyle and I are in his domain today.
That's right.
Sorry, Pops. We are in his shop, and we are today, besides getting reprimanded. Well, I remember you felt kind of a little wimpy inferior in my domain, That's right. So I'm already feeling like, okay, I'm going to get in trouble. So welcome to Strong Dads, as we said, and so we're in Kyle's shop, and so today we're going to talk a little bit about tools.
I love it. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for.
Am I allowed to lean on it?
You can lean on it. You can put your hands, even though the oils of your hands. Anyway. Yeah. So thanks for tuning in, guys. We're really excited. This will actually be our third Strong Dad show here. Your second time in the show. Yeah. I did a little show by myself in here. So thanks for tuning in, and we're going to jump into it. We're going to talk all things tools, and just we did with your show in your shop and your the working out, talked about the dream and kind of building that up, right. And that's definitely been this shop that I have has definitely been a dream of mine, and is kind of coming to, and it really allows me the days that I'm not at the firehouse to come in here and just explore and try and figure stuff out. And I have a saying in my shop that's the standard saying is you're supposed to measure twice and cut once. Yeah. Here in my shop, here in 3G Woodworks, we like to measure twice, cut once, cuss, and then repeat it all again.
With a whole new piece of wood.
Yeah, with a new piece of wood, and we do it over again. So, but yeah,
good. I'm glad you're not perfect.
I'm by no means perfect. So, but yeah, anyways, we are standing in front of my newest piece of equipment in my shop.
I already feel inferior because just a couple weeks ago you borrowed my little 18-inch Craftsman table saw that you literally picked up by yourself and threw in the back of your truck. You're not picking this thing up by yourself.
No. This is again my newest addition. I had to borrow your saw in the time in between my two saws. So this is my newest saw. This is a saw stop 3 horsepower professional grade cabinet saw. So really excited about this saw. It was a really good find for me. It's been a dream of mine to have a saw. For those of you who don't know, this is a saw where if while the blade is running, if your hand touches it, the mechanism, the actual brake in there will snap, and it will actually contract, and you'll lose your blade and you'll lose the actual cartridge, the stop. But again, it'll save your finger.
You won't lose your finger.
You won't lose your finger. So, so this is, again, kind of been that dream of mine to have a saw like this. It has a really nice 36-inch wing total capacity, so it's really, really nice to have the ability to make those cuts. My old saw actually had a bigger wing on it, but again, having the ability to saw stop, so it's really neat.
It sounds like we're doing a commercial for him, but really it's just Kyle's super excited.
Yes.
So, okay, I get what is this thing here? I know what this is. I don't know what this is. What's that?
This is all part of the dust collection. Again, this is, as you're running wood through, this whole dust collection system will raise up and obviously run the actual board itself. So usually I'll just flip that up and then run my boards through just like this.
Okay.
So again, this is because it has the ability, the stopping mechanism, the cartridge that actually break the saw or break the actual blade if your hand touches it. This is the first saw where actually if the saw is on, the blade is not running. And this is.
So is it on right now?
It is on. It is on right now. So again,
it's really quiet.
Again, the blade is not running. This is really cool. So every day when I come in here, I'll turn my saw on. Again, the blade is not running, and I can actually touch the blade itself.
Okay.
And I know you guys can't see it, but there's actually, it's letting me know, it's configuring, letting me know that the mechanism in there that is actually going to stop the blade is actually working. It's actually,
Is it reading the moisture in your fingers? Is it reading the current?
It's reading the current. Yep. So obviously we have electrical current that's running through our body. So yeah, so that's exactly what this mechanism is reading.
Gotcha.
So yeah, so it's a really, really cool feature.
Turn it on. Can I want to hear
Absolutely.
it?
Yep.
Oh man.
You want to go ahead?
What? Put my finger through it?
Yeah, you want to go ahead and put your finger in it? I'm looking for any volunteers. So any guys out there that want to try it.
All right, so, I'm also looking at, I have this little cheesy fence on my little table saw.
Yep.
That's not a fence. That's a freaking border wall.
Yeah.
What the heck is that? Like, that's pretty cool.
Yep.
But mine's, I half the time I have to check mine to see if it's even close to being straight.
And again, the fence is always going to be one of the most important parts of a table saw. And when you start getting these cabinet grade saws, these professional grade saws, that's where the fence really, you'll start to see a massive difference in the quality of actually the different saws. So again, this is a really nice and smooth fence that goes across.
Smooth.
And obviously you got a really nice lockdown to be able to obviously keep your material right up against the fence. And one of the things that this saw has on it that's really, really cool is these Jessamine tool. So these actually get locked in place. So before I would run any boards through, I'll actually set these in place. And these have a 5-degree angle back towards the fence. So not only is it going to keep the board from coming back in at me, so basically kick back, but it's also going to keep the material up against the fence. So this is a really cool upgrade that this saw already had on it, which again is a really nice addition to this saw, just to make it more safe. Again, the ability for it to not to kick back, but also makes it much more accurate because it's going to keep the material right up against the fence.
Yeah, that is pretty slick there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like not does it just keep it from kicking back, but it keeps it tight.
Yeah, because it's got a 5-degree angle back towards the fence. So it's
a lot of times when you're pushing stuff through, it'll kind of waddle off the fence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool.
Yep. And then we one of the things that this saw also has on it that's a really nice feature is this outfeed table. It's got these rollers back here, so it's a really nice addition for me. I used to have an outfeed / assembly table. Since this saw already had the outfeed table on it, which is really nice, I was able to make my assembly table a little bit smaller. Again, my shop is 18 by 26, so it's a nice addition to be able to have this outfeed table and then kind of a separate assembly table.
Yeah, and check out the dust collection system. I mean, that's like this is like an 1.5-inch line.
Yep.
But it runs down. You guys can't see it, but down below here it looks like a 4-inch line. That then it looks like that. Your dust system collection system is over here.
Yep. So, I got a whole dust collection system that hooks up, and just like you were saying, it's got that 4-inch intake that goes into the actual base of the saw, and then it actually runs up and has this 1.5-inch moving. It's actually a mobile, has the ability for this to actually move. So if I were to cut different materials and whatever the project may be, I can actually move this out of the way if need be. So it's a really nice, again, a nice addition to this saw.
Drink down there, but I'd get yelled at, so I'm not going to do that.
So this is a really awesome, again, upgrade, kind of the heart and soul of my shop. Every board that gets built through in this shop goes through this saw. So again, that's why it's right here in the front of my shop.
When I first started riding bikes, the very first bike I bought in 1982 cost me $310. And my family almost lost their mind.
Yep.
Okay? Because back then you could buy something for $80 at the Kmart, which is not even existing now.
No.
Yeah, and people were like, "Why? Why would you spend that kind of money?"
Yeah.
Now bikes that I buy are well into the thousands.
Yep,
okay,
exactly.
And it's not. That's just to say that when you get to a level of proficiency, you have a different expectation, and you respect it and appreciate it.
Yep.
And that's what this is, because like we're joking about my little table saw, but I just use it now and then.
Yep.
But you get the nuances of everything that this tool can do and why you want it. That's
well,
cool.
and to your point, I mean, that's been part of the dream and the progression of getting to where I'm at now. I started out with a very basic job site saw that you would see. I went to Harbor Freight and got a little tiny saw, and I have progressed all the way up. I bought saws, to get to something like this that is now, in my opinion, one of the best saws out there. So I'm very, very excited to have this in my shop.
Yeah, very cool. All right, so let's move on.
Let's do it.
take us to, I don't know, your next favorite tool or your next most used tool, whatever you want to call it. Where are you taking us?
So as you guys know, I joke about this. I'm not very tech savvy. So the fact that
I can vouch for that.
The fact that this is my next favorite tool in my shop is going to come to a surprise. But it's my CNC router, which is in the back part of the camera. You might be able to see that. So
let's go take a look at it.
Let's do it. Let's go look at it.
All right. So what is this thing?
This is a newer upgrade. It's not the newest, like we said, what my saw stop is. This is a Shapeoko Pro CNC router. So it could engrave 33 inches by 33 inches. So just shy of 3 feet by 3 feet. It is computer generated. This is, again, way outside of my this is way outside my comfort zone. This has been a huge learning curve for me, but the capability that this thing has, man, this is incredible. It can engrave any wood. It can actually do a little bit of aluminum. So it is a huge upgrade for me. It's really allowed me to really do a lot of custom work. I can actually go in there and do some, engrave people's names. I do a lot of American flags. I can engrave the 50 stars.
I don't know if you can see the flag up there, right?
That's my very first flag I ever made. That one was I hand engrave each of those stars. So that obviously takes a lot longer.
So the machine has put you out of work.
The machine is putting me out. So and truly, it really is. It is a robot. It is really cool.
Can you make it move?
Absolutely. Yeah. Let's do it. Let me
get my fingers out of the way so it doesn't engrave me.
Yeah,
that's just basically a router in there, isn't it?
It is. Okay. So here, I'll send it really close to you.
That's pretty cool right there.
So so this is something before every project I have to get it to the home. I have to basically tell the machine where the home is. So this is getting really close to so that way it knows where the starting point, because again, it's all computer. It's way above my pay grade here. So I basically tell it, this is where I want you to start the project, and it always knows that that's its home. I put in the dimensions of the board that it's getting ready to engrave, and it does the rest for me.
It reminded me of the field cameras over the football field.
Yeah.
In terms of how you made it move this way and this way. That's pretty good.
Yep.
So that's the whole 3D thing.
Yes.
And then it can go up and down into
so there's three different axes that it runs off: the X, Y, and the Z. So the X, the Y, and then the Z is up and down. So it's really, again, this is all stuff that I've learned. I bought this knowing that I had no idea how to work it, but again, part of that dream, part of that process is actually just learning and figuring out. I've cut a lot of wood, I've engraved a lot of wood and messed it up, and are you kidding me? So then I have to redo the whole thing. So it's definitely been a learning curve. And one of the new upgrades to this CNC router that I've actually done is I've actually gotten a laser engraver. So it'll use the exact same base as a CNC, and it'll actually sit down and it'll actually basically brand or burn the wood. So again, a little bit different type of process, but again, similar in the sense that it's going to allow me to do a lot of custom work.
So the engraver actually cuts in.
The CNC
and the
actually
laser kind of burns in.
It kind of stays up on the surface. Yep. So
I
do it. Put your plug in. Put your plug in. I like it.
I put a lot of pressure on him to go this way because some of my product needs some
custom work.
And I guess that wouldn't be etching, would it? Would it be etching?
It would be burning.
Burning.
I would be. I would use the laser engraver to burn it in
for some aluminum that we have. So anyway, maybe we'll update you to see exactly the quality.
So now I got accountability. So now you guys can put in comments like, "Hey, when's Kyle going to get on that laser engraver?"
All right, so the saw is really slick. This is really cool. This really shocks me because I know how untechy you are. So
I know.
I want to see this thing continue to work. All right, move me on to your next favorite or used tool.
So now we're going to kind of get a little bit smaller. We're going to do some of they're not really hand tools, but battery powered tools that I use on almost every project. So we'll get into that.
Okay. All right. So now wait.
You're allowed to. Well,
am I allowed to put my coffee
This is an MDF
down?
top, so liquid wouldn't be great on it. But I'm doing it, so you can go ahead.
What a priss, man! What a priss.
I like my stuff.
Oh, he does. All right, so we moved over to your what do you call this bench here?
This would be my assembly table.
Assembly table, okay.
Yep.
And this, I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's got little measuring slides in there.
Yeah, I got a bunch of dog holes, so it's got.
You call those dog holes?
Yep.
Cool. All right, is that where you put clamps and stuff like that?
Clamps can all go in there. Yep.
All right, so I recognize pretty much everything here.
Yep.
I have some version of this. So why don't you go through and tell us what you have and why it is Is it a necessity or is it a luxury?
Oh man. So my line of battery powered tools that I have is DeWalt, as you guys can see. So DeWalt, if you want to come alongside Strong Dads, we would love to have you as a sponsor here on Strong Dads. So the line that I have is DeWalt. And again, when you're talking about finding a line or finding a product that you want to use, the most expensive part or the reason why you should pick one is because of the batteries. These are where obviously a lot of the expense comes in. So I'm fortunate I have 10 batteries. So
now, are all these universal?
They are universal. Yep.
You can mix and match any piece of equipment there.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yeah, very cool. So again, just some of the basic tools I'm sure you guys are very familiar would be like a drill driver. So I use a lot of my drill drivers are going to be for pre-drilling. I don't do a lot of drilling screws into materials. I would use my impact driver for that.
Okay.
And again, just more torque on this. The impact driver is going to be a lot of you guys, if you've ever seen by like changing tires, like the NASCAR guys, like the bzz, right? That's going to be a pneumatic impact, but my battery powered impact it gets used all the time.
Hit the trigger on that. Okay, versus. So you can't really tell unless it's put under load.
Yeah, you would be able to hear.
You got the hammering of the impact.
Yep. Exactly. So I'll talk about this last just because it's probably my favorite. The next one is my jigsaw. I use a lot of this when I'm getting ready to do kind of the mill work. So when I get a material in here it's either way too long for my capabilities and I can actually shorten it up with this. This also has the ability to do some kind of finesse cuts, making rounded cuts. So my jigsaw gets used a lot. And this is actually one of my favorite jigsaws I've ever had because of the center of gravity. A lot of jigsaws are up a little bit higher.
Yeah.
So this jigsaw actually sits a little bit lower and actually has it feels really comfortable.
Yeah. That's one of the things with some of the battery powered tools. Some of them do not have a good feel.
Yeah.
And so the handle means a lot.
Yep.
Because if it's awkward to handle, it's like
Yep.
That's pretty cool, and that's a heavy-duty base on that.
Yes, yep. So again, my jigsaw, I use that a lot for milling up when I'm milling some of my lumber. This is just a basic circular saw, nothing too crazy here. Again, this is a battery powered versus actually the plug-in. Again, all the tools that you have on the battery lines also, they started out with the electric, the plug-in. This is now just much more convenient. You can basically take them anywhere. You don't always have to have the electric.
Yeah, but so. Like I do not have a battery-powered circular saw.
Yep.
And the reason is because I hear guys complain that they just don't last long when they don't have the torque. Is that true?
100%. And I actually found my electric circular saw versus my battery powered. The battery powered actually runs through my batteries a lot faster than say something like a Sawzall that I use quite a bit. So my Sawzall, that was one that I was kind of nervous to jump into the battery side because I know that they require a lot of power. So the circular saw actually runs through my batteries a lot faster than my Sawzall, which I was kind of surprised. So yeah, definitely not going to be as powerful as the electrical version.
All right. So if you're going to cut a lot, you need to get the old corded out.
Exactly.
Saw.
Yep. So this is more along the lines just basically serves for some quick cuts.
A quick cut. Yeah. Gotcha.
So before I again jump into my favorite tool, this is
that's just your hair dryer. That's your blow dryer.
This is probably the tool that gets used the most in my shop. This is just a very generic. Some may call like a leaf blower. This is just a very generic blower. I use this to clean my shop up. Like if I get done, if I'm on a project that I get done making a cut, I can blow the dust off. You just shook the camera.
I know.
So yeah, so I use this sucker all the time.
It's got some pretty good little torque.
It does. It's I love that thing. It gets used all the time. That's one of the tools that if my girls are in the shop with me, I blow them right in the face and her hair falls back.
Chasing the kids with it. That's
Very
you remember what that cost?
The tool itself is probably like maybe like $60, $70.
Okay, but the batteries.
And then the battery. But again, because I have so many DeWalt tools, the batteries kind of come. So again, my favorite tool probably, not to get asked this question a lot, but if you were to ask me if I could have one tool on a stranded island, what tool would it be? It would be this right here.
Really, over a saw?
Yes, because this is a palm router, and again on the battery line they obviously have the electrical version. So we just talked about the CNC router, which is the electrical router plugged into a computer. So this is a palm router on the battery powered line. the wall. I can do almost anything that a normal saw can do. I can make cuts with this. I can round over edges. I can do rabbets. I can do almost anything with this. I use my palm router all the time. This gets used on almost every project, whether I'm rounding over the edges, whether I'm making small cuts. I use my palm router all the time. This is if you were to ask me one tool to buy to get started, I would tell you a router.
No kidding. I have a couple routers, but I don't use them that much.
Oh my gosh, I use this thing all the time.
I must not know how or why to use it.
Well, and a lot of it becomes into the bit. So you have different bits, different capabilities. Each bit allows you to do different things. So right now I have a rabbiting bit, and actually can basically cut off material, but actually keep some of the material on there. So there's roundovers, there's flush trim bits where if you have a template, you can put up next to a board, and you can actually make the board exactly like the template.
Right.
So a very, very versatile tool that gets used all the time here in my shop.
That's pretty cool.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so do you have a charging station for all these?
I do. So some of you guys might not be able to see. Maybe you can. So yeah. So this is kind of where I put all my.
Look at that little workshop over there.
Yep. So and then I have all my charging ports here. Again, plugged into the outlet. So this is kind of the heart and soul as far as all my battery powered tools go. I got another extra drill driver. I got another impact wrench. This is a brad nailer that I use all the time. This gets used quite a bit.
I use those a lot.
Yeah. I got angle grinder. I got 90-degree drill. A little baby flashlight. So yeah, I got a little palm sander. So definitely a versatile little setup that I have to have my radio, right? We got to listen to music when we're in the shop, right? So yeah, that was a fun project just to kind of get all my tools up off the ground, up onto the wall, and very convenient for me. And it's got housing for each of my 10 batteries, so that makes sure that those batteries I can always have the charging ports, get those all charged up.
All right, man. So you have seen a pretty good little collection of tools here, all right? And there's many in here that you haven't seen.
Yeah.
I mean, you got your planer over there.
Yep.
You got, wood clamps over here.
Yep.
You got all kinds of just stuff that you probably wouldn't know to use unless you were into the business of woodworking.
Well, and again, just the dream and kind of getting to where I'm at now. And again, I still have other plans, more dreams that I want to get into. By no means did this all just happen overnight. This has been a long process. I started out with a lot of my dad's tools just handed down to me, and I built in the last 3 to 5 years of getting to what you currently see here. Again, I have an 18 by 26 foot shop. But again, you came over and helped me put some rafters in here.
Yep.
So this has been kind of a dream of mine to have a designated spot for all of my tools, to have them laid out so that way I don't have to get them out of a drawer and set them up. Everything is set up exactly how I want it. And again, this is now my third iteration of my shop of changing stuff
up.
It's
a little different than when I came in last time.
The last time, if you guys go back and watch the last one, you might see different tools and different layouts of my shop. And again, this has just been something, learning how to do different things and kind of challenging myself to build different things. I understand that my shop needs to look a little bit different in order to kind of get there.
So you guys have seen 2 different dreams, all right? Mine, you've seen Kyle's. Part of the point here is the idea of, we're called to take care of our family, to take care of our wife, but we're also called to use the gifts that God's given us, all right? And to do things in a way that also create motivation for us. We shouldn't feel guilty about doing things that God blessed us with in terms of our gifts. Again, it's the idea of acknowledging where it came from, all right? The idea of being humble and learning, and then saying, okay, so what can I do with this? And whether it's to create a flag that makes somebody's Christmas, it's unique to their gift, or to just be able to fix something for somebody, So part of living your dream, we just challenge you. How can you live your dream? What dream should you be living that you just sat on and you haven't done anything with it? And then you're going to go to your grave and you're going to go, well, I never really did any of that. And I think that right there is a slap in the face of God as well as yourself.
Yeah, and I think part of the dream is trying it, right? I had never built a shop before. I'd never built anything of substance before, and I called a couple people. I'm like, hey, I want to try this, right? But if it's like, if you don't try it, then it's just like you said, you go to the grave, and it's like, then you have those regrets. Like, man, I wish I would have tried that. I now get to say I have a place, and it's awesome that, we move all the tools out of the way, and we have card night here. And like I said, we have we put a golf simulator up, a spot for me to have, guys over to do life with. I know I share a lot on Tuesday nights, and I do my small group in the wintertime when it's too cold to be outside. We come here in my shop. Again, this is kind of like this place that I love having it, because again, it's been a dream of mine to have a place, again, kind of that man cave, right? And that's exactly what this place is for me. And again, I'm fortunate that I'm learning and kind of taking those gifts and abilities that God has given me, and I'm using my hands, because I know for sure that that's what God wants. He wants me to use my hands.
Here's the only thing that I'll add to that, okay? We definitely want to encourage you guys to get out there and to pursue your dreams, okay? But our dreams are not to be pursued at the expense of our greater responsibilities. And so the last thing we would want for any of you guys to take out of this is to go home and look at your wife and say, I don't care whether we have the money or not. I need to go drop a couple grand on some toys or tools or whatever it is. No, both Kyle and I had to go through a thoughtful process, not a process that I particularly cared for, right? I mean, it was a process of, man, why can't I just go do this now?
Yeah.
Okay. And you have to understand, like, my process of building the kettle bar and my whole gym, I mean, it's taken me years. And I learned very early on that some of that was making my wife uncomfortable because of time and money expenditure. And I looked at her and I said, listen, I understand. And so what I'm going to do is I am going to show you the respect and the value if you will just continue to stand and believe in me. All right, I will honor what your needs are.
Yep.
And so it put the brakes on the speed, but it didn't ruin the dream. And I think that was a thing that continues to keep our wives in our court. Right? They 100%. Cheer us on to do our hobbies and our interests and to live these dreams, versus if we just went out and disregarded all of their concerns and just did our thing. That's a selfish dream, okay? And so I hope you get that message, that if you do this well, you can bring your wife right along with you, and she will become your cheerleader in how you pursue it, because you honor her.
Well, and you and Linda have done whole shows on this idea of the dream and having a team effort. And it again, just what you're saying, it'd be so selfish of me to say, hey, Jenny, I'm going to go do this. I don't care what you say, right? There has to be that conversation piece that's a part of it. Everything we talk about it, in Strong Dads is not just you by yourself. You need your spouse along with you. Obviously it has to fit and jive with the family. We talk all the time about what's the lessons you want to teach your kids and kind of those value systems. It all has to fall in line with that. But I think just what you were saying, Merle, just the idea of bringing your spouse along for you, and it makes it so much more fulfilling when your spouse comes along to ride and is like, it took a little bit longer than I know what you wanted, but you got it now, right?
Yeah. And there's less tension in the house, right? Mm-hmm. All right. So guys, hopefully you just got a kick out of seeing Kyle's domain, and maybe he inspired you to think about just what you could be doing with your dream, all right? We need to thank our sponsors.
We do.
All right, we want to thank Quality Auto Marts and Casey's Outdoor Solutions for coming alongside of us and supporting the message that we give and supporting our strong dads out there. So we want to thank those guys.
Yep.
Got anything else?
If you come in my shop, make sure your drink doesn't hit my cast iron.
or even on your wood surfaces.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, thanks so much for tuning in, guys. I really appreciate it. Hope something we said kind of sticks with you, sparks some good conversation between you and your spouse, and really do appreciate you guys tuning in every week. Share the heck out of our shows. It continues to allow us to do what we do and put these shows out there for you guys. So really appreciate you guys, and go out there and meet some strong dads.
Casey's is a premier garden center and gift shop located in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. Casey's offers a wide selection of plants, landscaping materials, home and garden decor, and gifts for every occasion. Casey's is committed to providing exceptional service, a unique shopping experience, and value to every customer. Stop in and see what makes Casey's so unique. Located at 21481 State Line Road, Lawrenceburg, Indiana, or call 812-537-3800. Let Casey's help you add beauty to your home.